Welcome back to the News Wrap, everyone. Florida has more coronavirus cases than most countries in the world. And in just a matter of weeks, teachers, students, and the supporting staff are all expected to return back to the classroom. But some teachers say the risks are just too great. Rachel Bardes is a former teacher, public education advocate in Orlando. She has been on the front line protesting Florida's back to school plan. Rachel, welcome to the show. I've been looking forward to talking to you all day because so many parents are concerned. You've been very vocal about reopening schools for in-person classes. You're in Florida, but this, as you know, isn't just a Florida issue, an issue in so many states. What has your experience been like representing teachers that are on the picket lines?
Hi, thanks again, Hannah, for having me. It's good to see you again. Yes, it's happening all over our country, and I can speak for Florida, but specifically Orange County, which is one of our largest districts. I feel very honored and humbled to be able to speak up for my teachers and fellow educators. I'm also very proud to be able to speak for them. We are dynamic, caring, intelligent individuals, but a lot of us are too afraid to speak up for fear of backlash and this is kind of intimidating. So I say bring it on. We're worth the fight.
Absolutely. Teachers are always worth the fight. You know, some of the common concerns for teachers across the country, of course, is sick leave. Can you tell us more about that?
That's always been an issue. But to be honest with you, that's not the huge issue right now. Yes, pay is, again, a concern. And with us trying to push back the opening of schools right now, that is a big deal, but I'll tell you what, I gotta be honest, the overall fear is just going back itself. And teachers are right now, and all educators that work at schools are just extremely concerned about the safety conditions at school once they do open up. So that's really what the talk has been about. It hasn't really even been around sick leave.
Rachel, what are these teachers telling you? You mentioned their concerns to going back. Is it social distancing? Did they think the schools aren't maybe cleaned enough? What are these teachers telling you?
Yes. So those immediate concerns are the ones that are considering going back. And right now, we don't have a clear grasp of the numbers or percentages, but the ones that are considering it because they feel like they just have to or they need to, they are very afraid of us being able to fully enforce the proper social distancing. Will the kids keep their masks on? So will there be 100% compliance from the students? Think about the start of a typical school day. Most students ride a bus. How do we enforce social distancing on a school bus? And when they get inside the hallway, we have public restrooms for not just students, but for staff members too. It just doesn't seem to add up. If we're still closing down bars and other businesses, and during this, because cases are going up, why does it make sense for us to reopen schools at this time? It simply doesn't. It doesn't work that way. If anyone has been inside a school during the school day, you don't see social distancing.
You're absolutely right, Rachel. And we know parents have a big decision to make whether to send their kids back to school in the classroom in the fall or not. What advice are you giving parents?
This is a very tough one because each household is different and our communities are different. So inequities exist in our society, in our communities, and that's reflected in our schools too. So you have parents that have the luxury, families that have the luxury of keeping their kids at home because we have a parent that's there to provide care and help with instruction. But we also have parents that must go back to work. So that are unable to afford childcare. So it's a very complex, complicated, and difficult situation. The parents that are considering having their kids back in school, they have to make that choice, and it seems that a lot have to actually have their kids back in school. We all are just saying, the teachers that I speak for, the educators that I speak for, is that no one should be forced to go back. So the teachers who are at high risk, immunocompromised themselves, or live with someone who is, right, share a home with an elderly parent or a sickly child, they shouldn't be forced to go back, just like kids shouldn't be forced to go back. It should be a choice. And right now, the difficulty in the planning right now is figuring out how to provide for all those different types of households, because districts are offering not just one option, but about 3 options each. We are one of 67 counties and districts in Orlando. So we have 3 options like most of us do, most of the counties do in my state. But even those options are a little bit to one size fits all. So this is a very complex issue. And we're not going to, they're deliberating right now as we speak at Orange County is. So, and a lot of districts are talking right now still because they still don't have plans in place.
I think you're right. It's so complex. There's so many obstacles here. I think what also doesn't help so many parents and educators is there's so much different information coming out. There's a lot of different advice. I want to talk about the Academy of Pediatrics. They've told parents and educators that they should do everything they can to get kids back into the classroom safely. What's your response to that, Rachel?
Well, we're already seeing conflicting responses to that. As you're
Right.
saying, news is constantly coming out. Look what you do for a living. You see it. It's always new. There's something new. Every time you wake up, there's a new headline. There's new findings about this study. And now the numbers, maybe those aren't the numbers now. We have false positives. No one really knows. We're all scrambling. I think so. We understand that our leaders can't have a definitive answer right now. At the same time, we do have so many teachers and educators that are deathly afraid of going back to the class, going back to the brick and mortar schools, because the information is constantly changing. We don't know who to trust and what to believe. But I will tell you this: the fear is real. There are a lot of teachers who just don't want to go back because they fear for their lives.
That might be one of the many reasons that California decided to shut down its largest school district, not shut down, but go online only for their students starting in the fall. So Rachel, is that a plan that you hope most states follow? What do you hope happens next in terms of returning back to school?
So because of this, because things are so unclear and we're still getting different information about COVID, we do know that it hasn't gone down. It hasn't stayed down for the 14 days, the 2-week period that is suggested. We haven't reached that 5% threshold. We do know that here in Orange County. So knowing that and knowing that it's still not safe yet, and no one really feels that it's truly safe, otherwise we'd be walking around without masks on, right? So because we know that much, we have a large push to hold off on opening our schools up. We're pushing it back a week or two now, and we want to go even further. My opinion, I think that what California is doing is right on, and what some other counties are doing here in South Florida. They are starting with a robust online learning system that they're putting in place. And I think what we should do, the wisest thing that we can do with everything going as it is right now, we need to go ahead and prepare for the worst case scenario. And in my opinion, I think we should go online for the first semester. And then if we see cases lowering and we see it getting and things are getting better, and we see a significant drop in cases and it's staying steady, then we can go back to school. But why not prepare for the worst so that we are at that point and we are ready to meet those needs of those children, of our students and of our teachers and all educators? Why do we have to not be less prepared before? I think we should. Sure. I think we should be more proactive than reactive.
I have no doubt that many educators, parents, and law officials agree with you 100%. Thank you so much for your time. Rachel Bardes, we appreciate it.